Okay, second. And B, based on the physiological effects on the human organism, is exact because within the limits of such definition, many other human activities can be included, and has occurred in the neo-aesthetic theories which recognize art the preparation of handsome clothes, pleasant scents, and even of victuals. The experimental definition, number 2, which makes art consist in the expression of emotions, is inexact because a man may express his emotions by means of lines, colors, sounds, or words, and yet may not act on others by such expression, and then the manifestation of his emotions is not art. The third definition, that of Sully, is inexact because in the production of objects or actions affording pleasure to the producer and a pleasant emotion to the spectators or hearers apart from the personal advantage, may be included the showing of conjuring tricks or gymnastic exercises and other activities which are not art. And further, many things the production of which does not afford pleasure to the producer and the sensation received from it which is unpleasant, such as gloomy or heart-rending scenes in a poetic description or a play, may nevertheless be undoubted works of art. The inaccuracy of all these definitions arises from the fact that in all of them, also in the metaphysical definitions, the object considered is the pleasure art may give, and not the purpose it may serve in the life of man and of humanity. In order to define art correctly, it is necessary in order to define art correctly, it's necessary first of all to cease to consider it as a means to pleasure, and to consider it as one of the conditions of human life. Viewing it in this way, we cannot fail to observe that art is one of the means of intercourse between man and man. Every work of art causes the receiver to enter into a certain kind of relationship both with Every work of art causes the receiver to enter into a certain kind of relationship both with him who produced or is producing the art, and with all those who, simultaneously, previously, or subsequently, receive the same artistic impression. Speech transmitting the thoughts and experiences of men serves as a means of union among them, and art serves a similar purpose. The peculiarity of this latter means of intercourse, distinguishing it from intercourse by means of words, consists in this, that whereas by words a man transmits his thoughts to another, by art he transmits his feelings. The activity of art is based on the fact that a man receiving, through his sense of hearing or sight, another man's expression of feeling, is capable of experiencing the emotion which moved the man who expressed it. To take the simplest example, one man laughs and another who hears becomes merry, or a man weeps and another who hears feels sorrow. A man is excited or irritated, and another man seeing him is brought to a similar state of mind. By his movements or by the sounds of his voice, a man expresses courage and determination, or sadness and calmness, and this state of mind passes on to others. A man suffers, manifesting his sufferings by groans and spasms, and this suffering transmits itself to other people. A man expresses feelings of admiration, devotion, fear, respect, or love to certain objects, persons, or phenomena, and others are infected by the same feelings of admiration, devotion, fear, respect, or love to the same objects, persons, or phenomena. And it is on this capacity of man to receive another man's expression of feeling and to experience those feelings himself that the activity of art is based. If a man infects another or others directly, immediately by his appearance or by the sounds he gives vent to at the very time he experiences the feeling, he can cause another man to yawn when he himself cannot help yawning, or to laugh or cry when he himself is obliged to laugh or cry, or to suffer when he himself is suffering. That does not amount to art. Art begins when one person, with the object of joining another or others to himself in one and the same feeling, expresses that feeling by certain external indications. To take the simplest example, a boy having experienced, let us say, fear on encountering a wolf relates that encounter, and in order to evoke in others the feeling he has experienced, he describes himself, his condition before the encounter, the surroundings, the woods, his own lightheartedness, and then the wolf's appearance, its movements, the distance between himself and the wolf, and so forth. All this is if only the boy, when telling the story again, experiences the feelings he had lived through and infects the hearers and compels them to feel what he had experienced, is art. And even if the boy had not seen a wolf, but had frequently been afraid of one, and if wishing to evoke in others the fear he had felt, he invented an encounter with a wolf, and recounted it so to make his hearers share the feelings he experienced when he feared the wolf, that also would be art. And in just the same way, it is art if a man, having experienced either the fear or suffering or the attraction of enjoyment, whether in reality or in imagination, expresses these feelings on canvas or in marble so that others are infected by them. And it is also art if a man feels or imagines himself feels feelings of delight, gladness, sorrow, despair, courage, or despondency, and the transition from one to another of these feelings, and expresses them by sounds so that the hearers are infected by them and experience them as they were experienced by the composer. The feelings with which the artist infects others may be most various. Very strong or very weak, very important or very insignificant, very bad or very good. Feelings of love of one's country, self-devotion, and submission to fate or to God expressed in a drama. Raptures of lovers described in a novel, feelings of voluptuousness expressed in a picture, courage expressed in a triumphal march, merriment evoked by a dance, humor evoked by a funny story, the feeling of quietness transmitted by an evening landscape or by a lullaby, or the feeling of admiration evoked by a beautiful arabesque. It's all art. If only the spectator or auditors are infected by the feelings which the author has felt, it is art. I'll close shortly. There's a lot of the pages. This is only at the beginning of page 123. I think I started at 116. And I was skipping around until I started reading. I tell you, this is, it says man to man instead of people and humankind and all that stuff. It's an older book. Leo Tolstoy, 1898. But I think it said 98. Let me make sure I'm not too specific to dates and things. I do that. 1898. Let me pause and put another video section.